As many people will likely have heard by now, Charlie Kirk has been murdered. And while I was never much of a follower of his, I am aware of who he is and the kinds of things that he represents. And he tended to be a very staunchly conservative voice. And, as somebody who sits in the middle, I didn't necessarily agree with a lot of what he said. But at the same time, I respect everybody's right to feel how they feel and say what they think and believe in what they believe in, so long as you're not trying to harm anybody. And I never heard him say anything overtly violent or anything like that. And it bothers me. It bothers me that our country is turning into a place where people are killed for saying what they think. And I think what bothers me the most is that there used to be a time where there was a level of respect for people who got killed, where even if you disagreed with somebody and how they thought and what they wanted, what they voted for, the policies that they were pushing, when a tragedy like this happened to them, we didn't immediately go into talking about how they deserved it because of this or they deserved it because of that. There was at least a period of empathy and mourning and, respect for the dead. And we just don't have that anymore. The purpose of this video is not to talk about the politics of what he represented versus what other people opposed and all of this stuff. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that we're losing our country. This is an example. This is a vivid example of how we're losing our country. The people here are just changing in a way that makes what it means to be a United States citizen just unrecognizable. When did we become a nation of people who immediately turns an assassination into blaming the person who was killed for what they did? Like, they didn't... I don't understand it. I was raised in a country where we believed that being an American meant that we were all citizens together. And while we may disagree on how to run the country, we respected each other enough to respect each other's lives. And now it seems like more and more the people here just are okay with taking each other's lives because I don't like what you think. We're okay with talking shit about people after they're dead, blaming their death on other people as if speaking our minds is somehow verboten. Is that really the country we want to live in? Do we really want to live in a country where you're just not allowed to say your opinions anymore? Are we going to let the people in charge tell us that we're just not allowed to say anything anymore? I mean, this is not the country I grew up in. And while I understand that, being born in the 80s and raised in the 90s and my early adulthood in the 2000s with all of the propaganda and everything that we were raised with, I understand that my rose-colored tint to the glasses that I wear from the past doesn't reflect reality. But I have always believed that we as Americans, we as United States citizens, held true to the ideal of what America is supposed to be. Even if our leaders don't, even if the people who have money don't, even if every force in the world is coming across and trying to take everything that we have and turn it against us, I really believed that we as a citizenry believed in what America is supposed to be, and we're still trying to push for it. But it's getting harder and harder to believe that when the universal response to the assassination of a media and political figure is not, how dare somebody take a human life, and how dare this person do this, and let's get this motherfucker and get some damn justice here. The idea that people think it's okay to go on camera and talk and talk about somebody who was killed for saying what he believed and blame it all on him. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I don't understand how we've allowed ourselves to get to the point where these people are brave enough to get on camera and say those things. Do I believe they have a right to think that? Absolutely. Do I believe they have a right to say that? Absolutely. Should there be consequences from the rest of us giving them a bunch of shit because they did? Absolutely. If you're not angered by the people who are saying these negative things about this man who died because he said what he said, whether you're on the left or you're on the right or you're in the middle or wherever it is that you are, if you're not angry about that, if that doesn't upset you in the slightest, then you don't know what it means to be American. You don't know what it means to be a citizen of this country, someone who believes in what America is supposed to be. I want the head of this person who did this. And I would want their head if it was on the left or the right or the center. I don't care. It's ridiculous that we have gotten to the point now where we're so self-absorbed about everything that we want that we're almost cheering when someone on the other side loses their life to something because they said this or they said that. It's disgusting to me that we've allowed it to get to this point. And if you're watching all of this stuff and you're not mad and you don't have anything to say about it, you're contributing to the problem. And if you don't care, then you're not an American. You're just not. You may live here. You may have citizenship. But if you don't firmly believe in the right to free speech, the right to say what you think without having to fear other people, then you're not an American. If you ever utter the words, shut up, you don't have a right to say that. You don't have a right to say that. You are not an American. Because Americans don't do that. Americans respect other people's rights to have an opinion and speak them. You can disagree, you can fight, you can argue against it. But you don't get to tell people to shut up. And you don't get to kill them for saying what they think. If you have even a feeling that you want to silence people because you don't like what they have to say, fuck you, you're not an American. I don't know how it got this bad. I don't know how it got this bad, but it's got to change. We're going to lose our country if we keep sitting on our ass and letting people act this way. We're already mostly there. You have to say something. Start a YouTube channel. Talk to your friends. Do something. But say something. But we got to stop allowing it to be okay for people to just use violence as a solution to their problems. You have to meet violence with violence, and that's the way that it is. But you don't meet speech with violence. That's not what America's about. So I don't know what else to say. Because I don't have an answer to the problem, because if I did, we'd all fix it already. The answer to the problem is that you as a viewer, you as a person who lives in this country, whatever you want to call yourself, you have to say, this is not acceptable, and we're not going to allow this, and we're going to say something about it, because we have to live in a free society where people can say what they think. You can't do what you want, but you must be able to say what you think. You must be able to say what you want. And you should never have to live in fear of other people because you said something. So, I don't know. There are fewer things that make me angrier than things like this. I don't even really know who he is. But I know he's a very big public figure. And we're supposed to be past the period of time where people like this get assassinated for this crap. We need to fix it. And that's it.